There you go. And now, here we are. We got the map veto for you, so we'll bring it up. Because it is the very first play day, do bear in mind that both teams will be banning 3 maps apiece. They'll leave us with the fabled 7th map, which will be right here. I should mark it on the desk, right here. And we'll be going to Border. We've seen Border a couple times in both North America and Europe yesterday. That'll be the first time that we see it in Latin America.
Yeah, the first map of Latin America. And a major event, I suppose. Not really. Now, this is going to be mostly interesting just because we've got a really played out, really fleshed out map in Border that we get to test our teams on here, having our relatively new team to Pro League and our changed up Black Dragons roster. Again, we're just going to wait to see what actually happens. And you know, I'm actually really curious what the community is going to think when we get to that community vote, because, I mean, who are you betting on here? Oh, okay.
Unsurprising. Black Dragons is a fan favorite. They are a well-established team. They finished in, I think it was 5th last season, if I remember correctly.
They did all right last season. They didn't do as well as I think many people expected them to, because I don't know, Black Dragons has always had like high standards for a team in Pro League.
Yeah.
Regardless of which roster they're holding on to.
We'll see if adding Wog, who's a veteran to the squad, Hornetau coming in, who made a splash in relegations, and he jumped to bigger and better things, so to speak.
Finished 5th.
They finished 5th. Mm-hmm. Isn't that what I said?
Yeah, it is what you said.
Yeah, that was what I said.
Yeah, you were right. He's got the memories.
My brain thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
I use my brain thoughts.
He uses a lot of those.
I have to.
These
looks won't carry me through life. That's for sure.
Aw, you're not doing yourself justice there, Parker.
Just kidding, I'm beautiful.
There you go.
See? Confidence is key.
Yes.
Border is going to be a very interesting matchup. Latin America loves to ban Thatcher. Thatcher tends to get banned quite an awful lot on a map like Border. It provides a very interesting style of gameplay, and I use the word interesting here as a nice way of saying it can often be very sloppy. And not just sloppy, but deliberately sloppy. That's why you ban Thatcher, is to drag the quality of executes into the mud for both attacking teams, and then ends up becoming a slugfest on site with the defenders hopefully hanging on, the attackers doing a lot of damage. Who knows exactly what's going to happen, but I suspect we'll see a Thatcher ban.
I would say sloppy and interesting is a really nice way to say it. Like a really exceptionally nice way to say it.
I mean, it's deliberately sloppy, though.
Yeah. Well, we'll find out if we actually get that ban as we load into Border now, and the ban phase begins.
Yes.
Black Dragon starting on defense, so they'll be the first to ban here. Are they going to lead off with the Thatcher ban? Is it going to be moved into by Elevate? Is it not going to happen? We can only hope.
You can't say that.
What? I didn't say anything.
Black Dragon's banning.
And there it is.
There it is. It's a very controversial ban for caster/talent, because the question becomes, what level of gameplay do you see?
Usually it's...
Thermite ban.
Oh my gosh.
This is going to be a messy one.
You know what's funny? Because I was actually going to say, we've seen Thatcher Thermite bans before. I wonder if we'll see one of those. But then in my head, I laughed at that possibility, and I said, it's never going to happen. So I didn't say anything about it, and now here it is. So this is probably going to be
Mira.
Yeah, Mira, and then you'll see either Echo or Maestro in all likelihood.
Do you think that still holds, though? Because yesterday in both North America and in Europe, we had a lot of diversity with bans. We had Valkyrie bans.
Yeah.
I could see a Goyo ban coming out against specific teams, though I don't think Goyo is particularly strong on a map like Border.
I think it'll hold here. Yeah.
Very correct.
I think in this particular case, I'm sensing that we're sticking to the standard, if it were. I don't know. Okay, so this is going to be a really weird match because of the Thermite Thatcher ban. Basically, it'll be one of the most defender-sided matches we're going to have today in all likelihood. The Border with no Thermite, no Thatcher is hellish for the attack, and I really do mean that. You've got a Habana, yeah, you could bring a Maverick, sure, but there's many walls that you need to open up, you know, that either Maverick A doesn't have the distance for, which, oh, great, you've got Habana, so at least those can be opened, or B, can't open the wall wide enough in a safe manner. So like the armory wall, it's really hard to get that open with a Habana and a Maverick. Some teams can do it, mind you. Some teams can make this composition work in a structured environment without completely throwing strategy to the wind. Like, a team I would use as an example in this case is probably Empire. Empire doesn't even bring Thermite on border. They just play Hibana a lot, and they make it work regardless of what the site is. So it's possible. It's not easy. We're going to go to customs for the very first round. So already, right off the bat, it's a little bit different.
That's a strange one. We saw this yesterday in the European match where Vitality went straight to bathroom towers.
Oh, yeah, it's true.
Yeah, you remember that one?
Yeah, I do.
It did not work well for them.
It really didn't, yeah.
The whole game did not work well for them.
They had a really rough match. Is this 60 FOV?
It sure looks like it.
Oh, boy.
All right, well, hopefully we'll get that fixed.
Hopefully, yeah.
Hopefully we'll get that fixed. And it will likely be...
Cover me, reloading!
I don't know. I'm not Naman. I don't know how this is going to work. But yeah, it does look like it.
I'm starting to get a headache.
It's fun.
So PZD holding on to Banana, and he's going to do his darndest to slow down the push into CCTV. He's got support from, I believe that's Hornetow, but I could barely just see his name. And it looks like Elevate are trying to clear in through Office. Since they've realized the triple wall is unreinforced, this is a pretty easy entry for Elevate, and they can use this Office control to attack onto CCTV. This is a pretty smart play from them if they don't jump the gun.
And they can do some very serious damage here as well if he catches somebody off guard. They got a Valkyrie down below of Wog, who's going to be all distracted. If they can get to the Valkyrie in time, that's a very easy first pick for them. But the question is, will they be able to get there?
Well, so far, it's just Office, and they're starting to drone their way into like Archives and Armory. One Valkyrie cam spotted out in Archives. That'll be shot later on. No rush here from Elevate. They're going to lose one player. That's KDS to PZD. That's a good start for Black Dragons. C4 detonates, but no one dies to it. Live, though, will add to the BD tally, eliminating Lenda. So, Elevate struggling to get into the top floor, let alone attack the site. You got to realize this is a customs defense, so every moment that is spent clearing upstairs is a moment wasted for the attack, or at least inefficiently used.
That's two huge pieces of the puzzle from Elevate that have been removed as well. You've got very utility-heavy operators. That's definitely 60 field of view, by the way.
It is, yeah. And it...
So Wog will wait for just now. He's in prime position, but he's already used his Nitro Cell, whether it be pre-placed or not.
He's going to be able to boost up on this desk right in front of him and gain an advantage in any engagement. He's waiting for the call to boost.
Just sitting and waiting as Hunter does as his name would suggest, but he gets caught out by one of the members of Black Dragons on the floor, and Live will finish that one. Elevate right now staring down a possible flawless round against them. Not ideal. Souls is the only one up as Will finds himself walking into the open arms of Wog.
Oh, here's a drop in open area, and can he win the fight? Yes, so no flawless round, but Black Dragons tie that one up right after, and they'll get the lead-off round for this match. To be completely honest, it just didn't seem like Elevate had anything to show in that round. They cleared the way into Office, but as soon as Elevate's met any opposition, any players in Archives, Armory, or in the hallway, regardless of where it was happening, any player on Black Dragons confronted with an opponent won their gunfight, save, of course, the last when Black Dragons started frag chasing. So, Elevate having serious trouble with their coordination for one, because we did notice a lot of time wasted when they were clearing their way into Office. They could have and should have been droning their buck into Archives so that they can more efficiently take Armory and then collapse onto CCTV to commence the attack onto the site. That did not happen. Instead, they waited a solid 30-40 seconds, as I said, to drone themselves into Armory and then die in one-on-one engagements. So Black Dragons definitely happy about that situation. And yeah, I mean, that's pretty much the extent of that last round. We'll go to Ventilation for the next defense here. No Armory as of yet, but already it's looking like the debut for Elevate is a little shaky. Now you could say, and we're only one round in, so it's an early judgment, of course, but you could say/forecast that they're a little bit of nerves.
Did you see the bans in the bottom left suggesting that Elevate has banned Border 11 times, which would mean that this is not a very comfortable map for them. One thing to keep in mind when a new team comes into Pro League is that they might not always have the same robust map pool as a team that's been here a while. Black Dragons is a team that has a fine map pool. They likely have their given default bans, but that's probably about it. When it comes to a team like Elevate, well, we don't know necessarily how many maps they've been scrimming. They could have 3 maps that they always want to ban, and in this case, they can get away with it because of the way that the system works, but if they've got any more than that, then they're just simply at the mercy of the way that a best of 1 works. Though, best of 1s do tend to favor the teams that have smaller map pools, because you know that you only have to narrow it down to playing 2 or 3 maps, and you're very likely going to get them unless they're insta-bans for your opponent. So, it does appear that Elevate is going to be going with the same strategy, though, which is the solo entry, though the IQ of Hunter and Lendo, the Buck, will be very close to one another. They've managed to spot a member of Black Dragons playing down below inside a workshop, and then they have a feeling they've got one pinned inside of CCTV. KDS over on the vehicle customs area, or as we like to call it, a lot of people call it vents. He's going to hold a cross. So if you've got somebody inside of Armory or Archives or Fountain, as we can see that the Jaeger of Live is playing inside of Fountain, well, there's not really anywhere you can go except to the grave. And Elevate will get their first opening frag of Pro League. It'll come in the second round of their very first match, as Lenda is almost traded off immediately. The Buck will have to drop down after taking about 40 damage, 50 damage, 60 damage, etc.
So that's a much better start for Elevate. Starting to have their guns come alive here, but they have yet to clear out CCTV. A run out from CCTV window will net 1 for PZD. Hornetow adds to that. Now Black Dragons back in the lead. They've lost a lot of HP though through these engagements, so it's not as if the round is won just yet. Seiya's in a really difficult spot playing in the main hallway. Lenda's gonna get PZD. Looks like that might have been by the site. Wog feeling a little bit of pressure. No, it was upstairs. It's hard to tell sometimes. As he's being Excaros rather, on his hard wall, his single hard wall, which is going to expose him when he's in the site trying to anchor solo. His teammates at this point might be falling back, but bathroom control being in the way of Elevate, they'll have a good crossfire onto the site.
It's a very interesting setup that we have as KDS edges his way on up. The Valkyrie just so out of reach. Black Dragons with 2 members at very low HP. It's a couple bullets, and you can find Elevate taking the round. More X-Kairos going off, as you can hear, likely on the hatch above. And while Wog has been a factor on this Valkyrie, just needs to continue to kill time. 20 seconds left. Execute from Elevate needs to happen ASAP.
Oh, bad peek there from Wog. He goes down, as does Seiya. It's all on Hornetow, and he's got just a bullet's worth of HP. He'll get a nice headshot on KDS, but the follow-up kill from Elevate will secure them the round. We go to 1-1. It's a much more confident round from Elevate, just in general.
You think anything comes to it with the sites as well? Attacking customs can be quite a challenge?
Sometimes. I mean, well, to be honest, Elevate didn't even get to the customs bomb site. They were still struggling to clear out CCTV when they lost the round. That time, Elevate, they did a much better job of isolating Office, and instead of full committing to the clear upstairs, simply causing a little bit of attrition, getting a few kills upstairs on the roamers, then hitting the site when it was really weak, because those roamers came back from Elevate. They left the top floor. They came back to site. But at that point, it was too little too late. So, good job to Elevate, securing an early round advantage in terms of manpower, and then keeping it through the entire round. It'll be an Armory defense now for Black Dragons. It's good to see that Elevate is going to be confident and able to win these rounds. Put something on the board. Honestly, the way that BD played that last round was a little bit passive. I mean, you noticed it in the first round. They were winning all of their heads-up engagements. BD can probably just try to take fights and win them. They might be able to just leverage that into a win. This very last round, they were exceptionally passive.
You find it strange that Black Dragons banned Thatcher and then doesn't go to probably the site that's most affected by him?
Yeah, I found it. I found it a little bit. I mean, they just got to it. They're here.
They're finally here.
It took them 3 rounds.
I think you said yesterday in the Vitality matchup, I believe your exact wording was, for the first time in Pro League history, we go to Armory in the 3rd round. And now here.
Did I say first time in Pro League history?
I think you said something like along those lines, maybe not as
Yeah.
direct as that. Maybe not as brash.
But
you said something very similar, as in like this never happens.
Yeah, it doesn't happen very often.
Now it's happening again.
Well, it's good on Border. It's just like Armory is the site, and some people go to ventilation first to trip people up, but
there is a movement growing that Border hasn't actually been fully figured out yet, and then
really
are starting to invest in the other two sites more to see if they can maybe break the stalemate that is Border.
I think we've had a couple waves of that before, but I always find those waves, they just hit a wall at some point.
Well, one of them was when Mira came in, right?
Yeah, that was the first big one because people wanted to go to Tellers more. They wanted
Customs became very playable with the Mira.
Because you can hold CCTV. Yeah.
Very true.
Now we've got Elevate getting the leadoff kill once again. This time on a WAG. That's the dock gone. Will is trying to open up that wall into Office, or maybe just make a sort of a murder hole towards Office.
He got into there very quickly.
Yeah, he bailed.
What is it with Latin American Buck players? Buck and Valkyrie are like your go-to fragging operators in Latin America.
Buck and Valkyrie are both great fragging operators.
No, I know, but we just don't see them the same in other regions.
No, I know, you're absolutely right.
I think they use them.
I think it's just, we've always talked about how LATAM has a heavily regionalized meta. It's because they have a lot of local teams, and they're allowed to develop their own meta. You don't see that as much with APAC because it's really hard for APAC to scrim other APAC teams because of the ping. But in Brazil, you don't have that problem. So LATAM just, they play things that work for them, and that just kind of develops on its own in its own corner. And it makes for some really interesting Siege. Very different Siege.
What an answer back there from the mute that swings on out and guns down Hunter. Traded off very, very fast as Souls bursts through the window and Elevate regains their momentum with a numbers advantage and finds a Yokai drone at the same time. Excellent play from the Hibana of Souls to just walk right in. Lenda's there trying to do his best. He'll find one with the skeleton key. I don't know if he's got the down, but he's committed to Hornetau. He's gone. And now a 3v2 for Elevate as there been a kill from Black Dragons. Elevate's lead will grow now as Souls picks up yet another kill, leaving Seiya, who's back playing again. It's been a while since we've seen him as an active player. He'll get smoked off. 30 seconds left. Does he have a Yokai drone? The fire will burn in front of him, and there goes the plant. But it doesn't look like he has much utility at all. Another play from Lenda. 2-1. Elevate.
Beautiful job there from Elevate. They're looking a whole lot more confident in these last two rounds than they were in the first. Maybe just some first round shakes. Again, since they're only just coming into Pro League, it's something to consider. But what we do know is they've put themselves up 2-1 on attack, no less. Now, this is a defender-sided match right now with a Thatcher Thermite ban. That is unquestionable. One thing I really like to see from Elevate, and from any team really, is when you have a Thermite Thatcher ban, is Maverick being used the way he was used in this round. They Maverick tricked the wall, bucked it open, and then had an entry large enough not to be a bottleneck into the office. I love to see that. So props to Elevate for, strangely, being somewhat pioneers in pioneering, I guess, the Maverick trick in Latin America. We don't see it almost ever. It does happen, but LATAM, for some reason, is not a fan of the Maverick trick. Elevate brought it out there. It won them the round effectively. They got into office using that, got an entry off of it, and then they were able to attack the site comfortably.
Another customs defense down below. Oh no, sorry, this is Ventilation Workshop.
Ventilation? What is down below?
This is a pet peeve of mine.
What's that?
When the map is rotated.
Oh, like when you do...
Keep it north aligned always.
Yeah, I mean...
Always keep it north aligned.
That's obviously just difference in spectators. Yeah.
It's a pet peeve of mine, Rick.
I understand.
Always keep the map north aligned. Are you listening to me right now?
Luckily, there's a big compass. So here, for those of you wondering, though, you might be saying, well, there's a giant compass on your screen. We actually can't... So due to our setup...
There's a recess in the desk, whereas it's like, unless we peer over it, we can't always see the compass immediately.
So either we're bending our bodies, or we can't, leaning over the monitor, or we can't see the compass.
People orient themselves based on the compass, and if you're used to north being, north. Anyway. This is not calling out any spectator in particular. It's just a simple matter of, for all would-be spectators that are listening.
Pet peeves.
All would-be spectators that are listening, please always keep the map north aligned when you go. Aerial view, it makes everybody's job much easier.
Yeah.
Also because the when you look at the pictures of the maps, on the internet or when they're uploaded to the Ubisoft site, etc., they're always north aligned as well. Live gets the very first kill. On to Will. Say goodbye to the Maverick. He is a crucial operator that will no longer be available. No Maverick tricking is going to happen there, but Lenda, as Bucks do in Latin America, will find the refrag. And we're back to a 4v4. It's taken about a minute of time, give or take. Utility gone from the attackers. You've lost a Jaeger from the defenders. You lost a good gun, but that's about it. Definitely a trade I would be happy to take if I was Black Dragons.
Now, it's still winnable for Elevate, even though you've lost the Maverick, especially with the triple wall and office not being reinforced, so you don't necessarily need him to trick this wall. Slow take in here again. Elevate, really patient here. You gotta imagine, put yourself in Elevate's shoes. Again, you just come into Pro League. You got all this pressure on you. New organization. Things look good, but relatively untested. You've only played against one Pro League team to get here.
There's an unpredictability factor to that too, though. How I actually thought Hornetail got that kill. He shot.
Well, I'm just trying to say.
No, he shot the wall and then the kill feed popped up.
Yeah.
A flurry from both sides, 2 from Elevate, and then 1 from Black Dragons will give Elevate another advantage. You said this was a defender-sided matchup with Thatcher and Thermite off of the board, and yet the attackers seem to be doing just fine.
Yeah, the attack has control now above, and they're going to be able to leverage that for some pressure onto the site. You can see that happening right now. PZD must be known as the tracers are coming through the wall from above, but the diffuser is down, and PZD is going to be able to hold on to that.
He's got full control and all the information in the world that is required of him. Even though some of the roof above him is being shot out, the Buck drones himself in. He knows he's got one member of Black Dragons, it's Hornetail, trapped inside a small office, but that's a play if I've ever seen one. What is with these dry peaks onto the hatches over the last couple days? Hunter goes to PZD and KDS finds himself with his entire team dead. Diffuser still surrendered and he's gonna look the wrong way. Cannot hit the shots onto the smoke. Hornetail will need to reload, but there goes the Zofia doing as Zofia does best. You'll need to grab that diffuser and hunt down the Alibi on the ground, and Black Dragons will equalize 2-2.
So, we're really quickly going to fix something, and then we'll get right back into the match. But it's still 2-2, so Elevate having a good stretch of rounds there, but BD has finally shut them down. I will say that it was a 1v1, dying seconds of the round. That could have gone either way, if we're being realistic. So that was not a confident win for Black Dragons, and they need to be careful moving forward. But things so far are looking pretty even across the board in terms of the teams. Elevate and BD both having their standout moments.
Yeah. Somebody said that with the way that I look like Obadiah Stone.
I don't know who that is.
Jeff Bridges' character from the first Iron Man.
Oh,
what is his name? Ironmonger or whatever they called him.
I don't remember.
Somebody said that I looked like
very
him.
forgetful.
Somebody looked like him. So if you're listening and you care to Photoshop it, feel free.
Twisty. Now we're looking south. I never thought about it before until you mentioned it, really. His eye is twitching right now, guys. But no, I've never really thought about it. But you're right. Hey, pro tip, if you're in... Parker was talking about this earlier, but if you're in the spawn selection screen, north is always the top. So you can navigate your spawn, figure out where it's going to be compass-wise relative to your drone in the prep phase.
Image is always northward. Right?
It's really handy.
Also, a pro tip for those of you, because a lot of people will often ask a question. How do I get better? I'm stuck in silver. How do I get better? Well, are you one of these people? You drive your drone on a suicide mission into the heart of the site in the first 10 seconds of the prep phase. That is a key part of why you are still in the low ranks.
Yeah.
Save your drone. Put your drone over where you're going to spawn, and then when you spawn, pick it up. You've now got 2 drones that you can use later on in the round.
And you can evolve from that later on when you find like really sneaky, easy to access, you're not going to get destroyed in drone spots. But that's something that you work on as your gaming career moves forward.
And often requires a teammate or teammates to be able to take advantage of that. Because if you're going to stash your drone on top of a fridge or something like that for a flank route, somebody's going to need to be watching it.
Yeah. Also, if you do put your drone in spawn, you can cycle to your teammates' drones and watch them if you get bored.
Also,
and gain information from that.
Also very true. So with that, a piece of advice for you and a little tidbit as we get round number 5 underway. It's an armory defense for Black Dragons. They've won Customs once, and they won Ventilation Workshop once. See this exact same Maverick trick that's happening on the triple panel wall of offices. Now, you might be asking yourself, what is a Maverick trick? A lot of people don't actually know about this. If you cut off the top and the bottom of a sheet of reinforcement, the metal falls away and reverts the wall to its soft state.
Not on the whole thing, but between the cuts.
Correct.
Yeah.
So where the cuts are, you can now turn that panel back into a soft panel.
So there's a Buck on Elevate. The Buck-Maverick combination, you're going to Buck open the wall. It's effectively the same thing as like a Thatcher-Thermite combination. It's slower, but when you've got a Thatcher-Thermite ban, well, you need to bring replacements. And that's what Elevate have done. And again, I am just so happy to see somebody doing it, especially in Latin America. Live. We'll get a pick on to Will. So the Maverick, having done his job, is dead now. The wall is open, though, so that's all right.
You have to question why Will is being involved in any form of confrontation as the Maverick twice in a row on Elevate. The first time in particular was before he was able to use any of that blowtorch. So he couldn't put his gadget to use. And while it came down to a 1v1 with Black Dragons ultimately winning, who knows if that round would have made any difference. What a shot. The Capitao just suicide drops, essentially, and manages to take out the Dock of Wog. Live has also gone and Elevate has regained the momentum that they've had in previous rounds.
So, Black Dragons on the back foot, but they'll get one to bounce back. Seiya, newest addition to the team, going to get a kill there. It's not over yet, though. Again, very slow rounds coming out so far in this match. It's kind of curious. Smokes for the plant and the gas canister to try and cover, but Hornito has misthrown it. Souls will stick that plant as Hunter gets a cover kill. PZD rushes in and denies the plant because KDS is not paying attention. A team kill onto PZD, but it's not going to matter as Hornito just needs to survive for 4 seconds. He sees the enemy, lands the shot, and Hornito with a beautiful clutch. Black Dragons, yet another round, and they'll move forward 3-2.
They've won Armory, they've won Vents. That's going to leave Customs and Bathroom Tellers open as the final site for Elevate's attack and Black Dragon's last defense. Finally, the defenders are starting to put rounds on the board after what you commented on the Thatcher and the Thermite ban here. And a big part of that has been that attacking, as a lot of times we see this with new teams, attacking is a lot tougher to do, especially when bans can be unpredictable, than can be defending. In this case, Elevate is going up against an experienced team that, albeit making roster changes and some role swaps, as you can see, but Elevate is still going up against an experienced team. And while Chico's team showed great promise up against Red Devils, or the old Elevate squad as they're known as, I'm trying to refer to them as the team names that most people would remember them as. This was also a team that looked like, for a period of time, the worst team in Pro League.
Defenders, protect your bombs.
And I'm not trying to mince words here, and I apologize if there are fans of the team that get upset by that. But there was quite a period of time where Red Devils, that then got picked up by Elevate, looked like the worst period team, period in, period pro, period league. And I mean, obviously this new roster I think is much better. They've already taken the fight to Black Dragons. It's still close tonight, it's still young. But I've seen some things that I like from Elevate. And a lot of the mistakes that Elevate have committed can be fixed. Don't drone yourselves in, work with your team. Put your drones in positions where Black Dragons aren't spotting them at the same time. Wog killed the same drone 2-3 rounds in a row. Put your drones in spots where you can actually use them and they're not just being shot at immediately. And maybe don't put one of your hard breachers, even though Maverick does occupy that pseudo hard breacher role, in harm's way. I think those would pay dividends for their team. But they do have strong performances from both Souls and Lendas. You can see from the scoreboard being shown right now. The Buck doing as a Buck does, and Hibana taking on more of an aggressive role. So both hard breachers actually finding themselves in positions where they dance with the devil, even though in this case, Will has not had anything to show for it. He's been the opening death, I think, for a Maverick, just a bit too much. That changes some of the rounds that Black Dragons won, especially that 4th round, which I think could end up being a very pivotal round. Might have gone a different way. Lenda is waiting inside a passport for the call, the soft wall in front of him, and he's got a skeleton key to chew through it should he require. Drone work above, as second floor control is going to be oh so important. This is a customs defense. So, well, you're going to need to take control of CCTV and monitors first and foremost, and then from there you can transition towards the actual site. But it's a rotate from Black Dragons. 2 kills come out for them, as I don't know what happened with Elevate. They hit the gas, but they slammed right into the concrete barrier. Hunter manages to get one for Elevate. Is it too little too late? Well, down goes Souls. The 2 best players from Elevate are removed from the match.
Elevate still have a chance in this round, but it's not looking pretty good. Hunter, only player with the kill for his team, is still alive. He can maybe put some more on the board. Will trying to cover his flank from above. Half the round left. This is the fastest round we've seen from Elevate so far. Black Dragons not getting overly aggressive Yokai drone spotted out and eliminated by Hunter. That's good awareness. After just being stunned, good ability to catch that using IQ. Only a minute left here now for Elevate. Still haven't done anything really to regain semblance of control. Just trying to push from open area into Passport. The Sun Reinforced Wall was really curious on a Customs defense. In the first place, it was weird to see it get opened up. I believe it was by the Buck. But just the explosive take through it did not work out well for Elevate, and it still hasn't. Oh, a flank from Hunter, but he is held off as that door is being covered by Hornetow. Easy kill there for Will, but he's not going to get the player on boost, and there you go. Black Dragons, another round. They finished the first half 4-2.
Will's first kill comes at the time when his team needs it.
Is that his first?
That was his first of the match, and it ends up unfortunately being a bit impactless. With a Thermite and a Thatcher ban, and the way that Black Dragons knew how to play that, of course, it was Black Dragons that banned the Thatcher, you would have thought that they could have maybe ran that score up a little bit more.
Yeah.
Elevate banned the Thermite, so they knew how to play around it. Now we'll see if Black Dragons can work with them being a bit handcuffed to fewer Heart Breachers. Say is going to be on Hibana. He's usually on Heart Breach duty. That makes an awful lot of sense. Are they going to run a Maverick? Right now they have the chance to 6th pick onto a Maverick. They're not going to take it. No 6 picks from anybody, actually. So the rosters will stay the same. You don't need to take the 6th pick. A lot of people do get confused by it. Basically, you get a do-over on one of your operators that your opponents don't see. It is hidden. It is hidden to them. Ventilation Workshop. We're back to being south-aligned. And it's interesting how often vents get played.
Yeah, Ventilation is actually probably one of the more played sites out there now, because Armory, you know, it is the site, of course, but your secondary site is often leaned on in maps like Border, especially if you're not comfortable defending it. I'm not really surprised to see Elevate going there for their first site. Pretty common. Now, overall, 4-2 in the first half is okay if you're BD. Because, yeah, okay, you're in the lead, sure, but it's a Thermite Thatcher ban, so I think that really isn't, like, as decisive a lead as you would expect on Border of all maps. I think you talked about that just a little bit, where you were saying, yeah, BD could have run it up a little bit more. I totally agree. So we're going to need to see some seriously impressive play from Black Dragons. And one thing that I will note is that they are not bringing Maverick, so they do not seem keen on Maverick tricking walls. It's likely that they're just going to lean on their fragging potential to try and, you know, deal with the fact that they can't open up anything. If you can get through your bottlenecks by just being really good at killing people, that's a thing. It's just not as reliable as making a wider bottleneck. Or eliminating the bottleneck entirely.
Can't tell if Hornetow's being droned in at all. No, he's droning himself inside of monitors. He's in the staff break room right now. That drone was just by 90. Black Dragons have a couple people over by CCTV. You refer to it as Banana, the monitor stand area. I wonder if we're going to see them push on up towards the armory wall. That's going to be the first nut to crack. Hornetow is waiting to try and catch Will on a rotate. Top of main stairs, who's there? Well, the Jaeger was, but he drops right back down. So the Ash will languish, not accomplishing much. Half of the round is over, and there's been limited action. PZD is the only person in the match that's taken any damage. Pre-fire from Lenda. Stopped a little bit too early and prematurely holding back on that fire. Cost him a kill. We also got an upside-down rappel on the main door, so it is a good thing that Lenda did not re-engage, and funny enough, the Buck of Lenda is now playing the Valkyrie, so we talked about these two operators and how they are the fragging operators. Well, here they are. Will, for his trouble, finds kill number 2 onto PZD. Down goes the IQ. Hornetow has control of the hatch above, looking over towards the double doors, the bottom of main stairs. Waiting for the time being. Soul's playing behind that shield. He'll have information if required. He can pop on up. Misses the drone. But down goes Will. Hornetow finds the kill that he needs. 40 seconds in, Lenda's C4 connects with Live, and Black Dragons now finds themselves down yet again. This has been a common theme. Black Dragons have been trailing so many rounds despite them holding an advantage overall in a 4-2 scoreline. Hornetow encroaches upon the site. And he manages to snag the Echo and win another fight miraculously as he takes out Hunter, and Seiya joins in on the fun, even though it's Hornetow there as well. Shotgun barrel pointed directly at chest level. Tossing out a toxic canister is KDS, trying to do his best. He's completely blind, fires on in, but he doesn't hit the shots. There's too many people from Black Dragons there, and their lead will stretch. They didn't get the opening pick, that's Elevates, but they get the round, and that's ultimately all that matters. 7 rounds through this matchup, and we still haven't seen a single objective played.
It's been a weird match for sure. Black Dragons, though, coming out on top, especially with that lead-off round win. That's really good stuff. Having that advantage early on in a situation like this where you've got the Thermite Thatcher ban is where you need to be, especially considering, okay, again, they had the defensive half for the first, and they managed to develop the lead 4-2. Now they're 1 round away from match point. BD confidently pushing themselves there. And with no Maverick, again, all they really needed to do in that round was just push for the kills and win the fights. They managed that. We'll see if they can do that yet again. As we go to Armory for Elevate, they're not going to try their luck on ventilation anymore. Maybe they'll go back there if they manage to win some more rounds.
Back up to Armory we go. Good try from Elevate. KDS put in an almost unwinnable situation, and then the secondary utility from operators with the flashbangs available. That's ultimately what stopped him dead in his tracks. We've seen Smokes clutch 1v3s like that before. The SAS shotgun at such close range can tread, then you got the SMG-11 as your pocket rocket, as a lot of people used to refer to it as.
Yeah, well, I always call those in like the Bearing 9 and all the other SMG pistols like buzzsaws.
Buzzsaws, that's a good one, yeah, because a high rate of fire and they chew right through.
Yeah, but at long range, they're not really very useful. It's more like, yeah.
Like a buzzsaw would make.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because if you're 10 feet away from the buzzsaw, you can't touch it.
Exactly. So
is it not?
It's not useful if it's further than throwing distance.
The range matters.
Yes.
The range very much matters. So an Armory defense, Lenda off of the Valkyrie onto the dock this time. Another operator that has seen a resurgence in play. That's a default camera that's still up watching the jail/prison wall and the corner of the balcony leading to CCTV and monitors. Hey, that is some serious negligence there to have 2 players from Black Dragons in that area, and neither of them bothering to shoot out that default cam. That's a real angle from Will, but he'll be spotted right away as Hornetow sees him. Barbed wire in his way, he cannot engage at the speed that an Ashe is used to. The Jaeger and Ashe battle is one that was foretold by our forefathers centuries ago, Michael, and it will continue until the sun inevitably grows and engulfs the universe.
Yeah, I mean, it's
our planet.
They're just trying to prove who's the better Jaeger Ashe main. But as we talked about, Jaeger Ashe main in LATAM is kind of different. So I think the main fraggers are, Valkyrie and Buck. Especially the players that have the best stats, like for example Nesk. Started his career as a Buck Valkyrie player. He doesn't only play them now, but you know, the beginning. Will eliminate Hornetow, so Elevates begin this round with a lead. Looking all right. It's only a minute left. This is kind of just, these are the slowest rounds I have seen in the last few Pro League days. Hunter will eliminate PZD, and I'm not narrowing that down to LATAM, by the way. I mean, like, just in general. LATAM, EU, NA, it's just slow. Live, landing a nice nade there by half wall. Is it an Armory take, or was he just hoping for a free kill is my question. I'm not really sure what the strategy is for Black Dragons. It looks like they want to pressure Armory, but they haven't cleared CCTV. So that's going to cause them to lose the round, unless they can get on this in the next 30 seconds. Swag will eliminate KDS, so that's the start. He's walked into a crossfire, though, a 3-way crossfire, and he'll die to Hunter. Live will refrag that. He's lost a lot of HP in the refrag, but you know, he could still get a kill, maybe, in the following engagements. No one covering Armory wall directly, but again, CCTV hasn't been cleared, so Hunter is able to kill Seiya as he tries to walk by Hunter.
Black Dragons have trailed in a lot of these rounds despite getting the opening picks, and yet they still managed to pull it out, but Live is going to pull the old... Let's take a timeout and talk about this one. So the round will go to Elevate, and on the roof, we will see Black Dragons decide to assess what to do next. Elevate's first successful defense comes in their second attempt, and it will be on the site that oftentimes you are expected to win. Doesn't make the job for Elevate any easier, because now they'll have to go down to one of the bottom floor sites. They're going to go to Bathroom Tellers. Will they go to Ventilation Workshop? Or will it be a custom?
Looks like ventilation.
It's going to be vents, of course.
Yep.
Because they're not
crazy.
You
got to go where you're comfortable. This is the most comfortable site for many teams. The second most comfortable for many teams. It is one of the primary sites on Border. Now, that last round, I didn't really see what BD was trying to do. It seemed like they wanted to do an armory take, and they were opening the wall. They were, bucking from below, but they skipped one really vital take, and that is, or one vital portion of the take, and that is clearing CCTV. Like, they didn't just try and fail. They did that, but then they just said, oh, you know what? We don't have to clear CCTV. Let's go around. And then they died doing that. They kept getting picked off 1v1 in different gunfights. And like I said, Black Dragons have actually an exceptional record at getting the opening pick and then falling behind almost immediately, and then yet somehow still winning the round. I think Elevate got the opening pick on that one.
They did.
Yeah. But you're right, they do.
I mean, on their defense. So far, the team that has gotten the opening pick has won all but one round. Elevate got the opening pick on their first defense. Defenders have gotten the opening pick all but 2 times. They've been doing exceptionally well on their own, which speaks to both of these teams being maybe a bit too hasty to get into the building. Slow it down. We saw from Elevate in particular, and you were critical of, they were joining themselves in all as individuals, not as a unit.
Saw the same thing with Black Dragons.
And now and I was just about to say, Michael, before you so rudely interrupted me.
I'm sorry.
Black Dragons is doing the same, Michael.
Yeah.
Thank you for apologizing. I accept it immediately.
Okay.
Hate it when we fight.
It was the perfect opportunity for a get out of my head joke. Get out of my head.
No, you get out of my head. Should have made it.
Should have. Now, Hornetow droning himself in, but not actually doing the droning.
He did this before.
He just throws the drone.
Same pattern as well.
He entries a little bit. He's like, I'll win the fight if there's someone there. And then he drones a little bit, gets the 90 cam. And now from here, he's going to be able to just control 90. And I guess that's like a prong of the attack onto vents. Well, the ventilation attack worked for BD, so Will's still inside of customs. He has been lit up, so it's likely the enemy knows where he is. They're opening up above him, trying to corner the Jaeger. We do have, I believe that's Hunter down, so he'll need to get recovered. He was down by a nade, it looks like, from below. KDS is going to get Hornetow. So there goes your Ash by 90. Souls, I'm not sure if he even saw... Oh, no. That's a player inside of CCTV. That's PZD. So there was nothing for him to see. Will's getting a little aggressive at the top of metal. Since Hornetow is dead, there's no one actually covering this, whether he knows it or not. He could just walk into break room and flank BD right now. They haven't put someone else on flank watch yet after Hornetow died in the beginning of the round. That is shocking. No one's going to try and pick up Hunter, by the way. He could have been recovered this whole time. The enemy doesn't know that Hunter is down. Downstairs, Valkyrie will get eliminated. Live will also get a nade kill. There goes Hunter. But that was earlier. Actually, that was the downed player bleeding out to the nade that he had been down by earlier. Will, downstairs, will get Live. So good progress.
Almost lets that one slip through his fingers. He's got 2, finds Nomad, can't grab the second. Elevate comes alive with 2 kills of their own, and just like that, they have won the round, and this match is far, far, far from over. The defense proving, as we anticipated with these bans, to be crushing it versus the attackers, and right now the defenders have won 6 of the 9 rounds. Those are 2 numbers for you. And with that, because Elevate has won both Armory and Vents, they have to go somewhere else. They're going to go to Customs Supply Room. So no Bathroom Tellers on the docket so far. There's still 2 rounds left. But no matter what happens here with Elevate, Armory and Vents will be open before this match is over. So they could always go back to those 2 sites. We don't necessarily need to see the 4 full site rotation.
You know, what I was just thinking about is when you have a Thatcher Thermite ban, boy, it is a different game.
We said sloppy, and I mean, a lot of people interpret us as saying that the teams are sloppy, but no, the gameplay is exceptionally sloppy. The idea behind a Thatcher ban, period, is to take full control of denial as a defender and funnel the attackers in where you want them to go. A thermite ban added to that makes it even more of a funnel. That narrow funnel gets even steeper and even smaller. And because of this, you end up with the defenders essentially dragging the attackers down into the mucky muck and then just beating them with experience.
So you know the funny thing is, though, there is a prong of this that does pertain to the team specifically, and in this case, Black Dragons, not Elevate, strangely. I would have expected Elevate to be the ones in the fault here, but no. Black Dragons refuse to Maverick Trick, and it has actually caused them a couple problems on their takes, where they can't open a wall wide enough for it to matter. Elevate brought Maverick almost every, if not every round, opening walls when it was necessary, and I do believe that was a big part of why they managed to get 2 attacking rounds. If Black Dragons lose this, or if it goes to a draw, that is what I would attribute it to. Just a sheer stubbornness to bring the solution to the problem that is a Thermite Thatcher ban.
It's a full court press there from Black Dragons as they got very aggressive on the defense. Didn't find anything for their troubles, however. So Black Dragon survives a scare. Nobody takes any damage, as you can see. Full HP despite a ton of gunfire going off in the distance. Reloading. And even the not-so-distance.
Hornet's out. Looking for targets. He knows that there could be someone with a bullet hole or a punch hole in that wall, so he's just going to pre-fire it. And he'll get Lenda in the process. Live will buck open the break room. It's going to give good angle into break, so they can take it later. Of course, you need to use break to get CCTV. Once you have both of those, you can actually open above the site, and this is a really easy attack. Black Dragons are looking more proficient in this attack round than I've seen them be so far. Looking pretty strong. We'll see if that carries forward. KDS trying to contest downstairs. It looks like Black Dragons are going to be able to get top 4 control pretty soon here. The question is, how many bodies is Will going to put on the floor before he is eventually eliminated? Upstairs in CCTV.
It was a perfect opportunity for a Will joke. How many?
Will.
Hunter leveling somebody, doesn't finish it off,
no.
though. The Asher Hornetau gets taken out by Will, who was so ineffective on attack in terms of fragging, but has come alive on defense in that Jaeger role. He was being given the space and the freedom. Now he's got KDS with him, backing him up inside a break room. Through the door, the Mozzie will sustain some damage, and Will's got the cross if someone decides to press on in, but KDS takes the fight to him. Wog springs in, trying to take advantage, but it's a 3-man cover, and Will gets credited with that kill. Will he get them all? That is the question. Seiya now in a 1v4 with the defense of Elevate, obviously being very prepped for this, and this is where operator bans become so important. Yes, the Thatcher ban obviously affected Elevate, but they still managed to take 2 rounds for their trouble. The Thermite ban so far seems to be having quite a profound impact from Black Dragons, and they are not switching things up enough. It's a swing from the door, and Elevate finds the final kill. A trade, though, from the Mozzie and the Nomad, or the Hibana, rather, but it doesn't really matter. That's 3 in a row from Elevate. They complete the cycle.
I'm actually...
No matter what, we're going to need all 12 rounds.
Actually a little bit angry about what I just saw, because we just witnessed...
Be angry.
We just witnessed a clear of the top floor, and almost the entirety of the top floor was droned out and cleared hard by Black Dragons. But then they didn't do 2 things. They didn't, number 1, and most important, drone out CCTV before pushing it.
You need to shout.
Sorry. And then number 2, also somewhat important, hold the rotate by metal stairs. So when you get control of the top floor in Border, generally speaking, it's pretty easy to maintain that control by simply sticking an air jab or a player on both of the staircases, or like a drone for a dead person to watch. And once you've done that, then it's really hard for the defense to retake upstairs. What we just witnessed was KDS sprint up those metal stairs to support Will, who again was not droned out in CCTV, and Will managed to get some kills off of that because of negligence for BD, but then we saw KDS add to it by supporting Will when we saw BD try to shut down Will after they realized he was still in CCTV.
Will has picked up 6 kills on defense, and he is still at the bottom of the scoreboard for Elevate, but I think it is impossible to argue his effectiveness in the second half so far. And he and KDS have been by far and away the standouts on this Elevate squad. But that's good, right? You have Lenda and Souls carrying the weight on attack, and now you've got KDS and Will doing their job on defense. That's good depth that we see from Elevate, and it'll obviously be promising moving forward.
The only thing again, like you could see it. Remember when Hornetow was getting shot by Will, and he's like, oh, "There's someone in CCTV! Oh my gosh!" And
multiple people actually.
That should not happen.
Yes.
Now, moving forward from that, Black Dragons hasn't managed to get around for 3 now. This will be the 4th try to push us to match point. They have spotted out the dock inside of CC, as well as Will, the Jaeger. So they're going to be able to pressure both these players. Hornetow just pre-firing all the things. Miss every shot you don't take.
I believe it was Michael Scott who said that. Or Wayne Gretzky said that.
I actually don't know. I just know it's a famous
quote from The Office, okay? You miss 100% of the shots you don't take is something Wayne Gretzky said. Then Michael Scott quotes in The Office. Just watch The Office. Please, just watch The Office.
Which version? The American? Or?
Oh, okay, we're not going through this.
Lots of information here for Black Dragons. They haven't capitalized upon any of it yet.
I think this might have been some of the most thorough droning that we've seen from Black Dragons. Now, whether they're actually able to do much with it, because when you have so many drones in action, the question becomes, who is actually getting droned in at this point?
It's the problem.
There's nobody in security, so the answer would be probably Hornetow.
Well, he was the one droning. That's the issue.
So you got 2-3 people droning, and nobody's taking advantage of it. What's going to happen? You have this. You now have everybody off of drones with nobody able to do anything. KDS could be dead meat here, though. He's blinded behind that shield. But if there's great hesitation from Black Dragons, it won't go anywhere. Down goes Will to PZD, gun out, and there you go. Now you've taken control of monitors the way you need to, and it's a lockout from Black Dragons. 3 kills, almost a 4th, as Hornetow just narrowly misses. But look at that. Look at all the damage being done. PZD is down. Live is so low, too. They should be a finish off onto PZD from the smoke, but no, he just manages to miss it. KDS, he was stellar as Mozzie. Won't have much more for smoke. What is Souls capable of doing? PZD gets Will back to life. Souls was exceptional on attack. He's cooled off on defense. They're going to need a banner round from him, as it will be match point for the victor of this round. Both teams at 5 apiece. Souls inside of Archives. He'll rotate on over. If somebody decides to go in through offices, he's got it in sight. But no, he'll miss the Nomad. Too many angles for him to cover. Here's the glass break. There goes an air jab in front of him, and he is basically inside of a sarcophagus. Lots of marks. He's in trouble. He knows it. You have to try and deny the plant. He'll do just that, but he gets swung on. Takes one out. He levels the other. All he needs to do is go on the Yokai drone, and he's got this. 1 second left. Unbelievable. Elevate somehow manages to win that round because they don't pressure Souls. Holy hell.
Alrighty then. A big win there from Souls, but a win that he was allowed to have. He was gifted by just egregious mistakes on Black Dragons.
2 people died to the positioning of the Echo inside of Archives. You know he's there, but nobody pressured. There's still one other member of Black Dragons up. It was a 1v2. Diffuser was down. The IQ died frag chasing. The Buck died frag chasing.
Could have covered the Yokai drones.
Nomad was still up, but the Hibana got the plant off. And with that, that is a heartbreaking loss for Black Dragons in a round that they, for every single use of the word, should have won.
Yeah, that's going to be one of those rounds that I think defines, as much as we have like rounds that define players' careers where they clutch up something really hard or a team just is super coordinated in a particular moment. That's going to be the sort of round in the opposite that will really hold on to Black Dragons. It's not going to let them go. That's the type of mistake after mistake after mistake after mistake and a series of unfortunate events that you see and you just wince at.
Despite the fact that that was a Black Dragons essentially losing the round more than Elevate winning it.
Still, Souls, still.
Prioritization from Souls onto the 2 targets, then to drop down, secure the kill so there would be no intel in the room, and then to get on the drone. That's perfect. Also keep in mind, where was the Nomad? The last time we had spotted the Nomad, she was inside of
breaks.
break room. So was she rotating through Archives offices?
I think she came up top metal.
Was she going towards metal? That's the thing. She just simply could have been too far away because it wasn't her job to watch. The Buck and the IQ both should have been able to take out an Echo, but Souls hit his shots. And the confidence that you imagine Elevate has after that round must be immense.
I think the real problem is that Black Dragons was split down the middle in 2 different factions. They didn't say what they wanted to do.
The Jedi and the...
No, the 2 different factions were the Frag Chasers and the people who want to win the round. And so you had some people going for a plant, and you had some people they wanted to frag chase. And now both of these can actually work, because when you have a 4 versus 1 in dying seconds, and it's an Echo especially, that might be the right call. Frag chasing could be the right call. Go for the win, get that kill, and then you're good, done. But only works if everyone's doing it. Otherwise, he's gonna kill you all and then deny the plant because he's Echo. And that's exactly what he did. So there's a little bit of a split down the middle situation going on for Elevate that caused them to, or not Elevate, but rather Black Dragons, who caused them to lose that round. This round looking much better for BD, though, as they get the 2 lead-off kills. They've lost 1 in the process, though.
We're going to see the reverse Black Dragons here.
Maybe.
Where BD was trailing, yet still managed to do so well with it. On so many rounds, they got the opening pick and then immediately fell behind. Black Dragons did get the opening pick this time. Elevate will need to keep it together. And yeah, they've lost Hunter, but he hasn't been as much of a factor on defense in terms of his actual frag play. They've still got the 2 hard carries, if you want to call them that, of KDS and Will. Information from the Yokai drones will persist, even though we saw some of the Valkyrie cameras get shot out from the IQ, as PZD does his job very effectively. 1 minute. Hornetown knows that he's got control, but this is a ventilation and workshop defense, so it's down below. KDS will get back to sight as Lenda's gun on MPX will find Hornetown. So Hornetown doesn't have control. I immediately eat my words.
This could still go the way of Elevate. They've only got to hold on for 42 more seconds. Lenda's going to get 1 by the main door, but the refrag is in from the Habana. Black Dragons keeping this nice and even, but there's just Will and BD. Give us a draw for match number 1 in Latin America.
The first draw, period, of any singular region.
Yep.
And it comes between 2 unlikely foes. So both teams will walk away unhappy. But the defense on both sides of the coin, 4 rounds won, 2 rounds lost, 8 of the 12 rounds going to the defenders. And as you very wisely pointed out, with the 2nd or 3rd round. You ban a Thatcher, you ban a Thermite, you're a lunatic if you think the attackers have an inherent advantage with that one.
Yeah.